4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Hello everybody, 1-1 at the weekend. Let's have a look at it.
Need to tell you, last night Oxford won. It finished 1-1 between Blackburn and Portsmouth as Harry Winks picks it up and shoots. Oh, he's almost scored. Walton somehow puts it behind. Harry Winks with a snapshot after Ipswich gave it away through Dan Neal. And Christian Walton somehow has managed to smother that over the bar. Nunez will swing this in right foot. It's a deep one, free header for O'Shea. How's that stayed out? Dara O'Shea has his hands on his head. He was no more than 2 yards out. Did it hit the base of the post? It looked a certain goal. And Leicester...
Those opportunities come around again. I like to think Leicester might be a little bit more composed.
It's going to be Thomas to swing it in from this left-hand side, and it's a good ball, and it's a goal! Patson Daka runs off and celebrates. It could be a massive moment for Leicester. He is mobbed by his teammates. Wonderful ball in, super finish. Ipswich 0, Leicester 1. As Ipswich go long down that right-hand side, headed down only as far as Ivan Azon here. Well flanked by Skip, rolls it back to Burns. Burns pings in across. Davis is there with the header. It's a loopy one. No, it's somehow kept out of the far post. Azon's put it over the bar. Stelacic didn't know whether to come or not. Who picks out the pass to Jack Clark, who will run at Abdul Fatawu here. Gets beyond him a little easily. Curls in a dangerous ball. Great defending. Comes back to Furlong. And then Mehmeti. And now Walle Egeli has found the back of the net. And Leicester don't lead at Portman Road anymore. Well, they've fought so hard to keep the ball out, but eventually Ipswich forced it home. And we are level at Portman Road at 1-1. It's the substitute, Sindre Walle Egeli.
1-1, guys. Brad, the gentleman in the lovely jumper, and Clibbo, how are we all doing? Welcome along. I'm going to ask you, let's start with you, Brad. Lucky?
Yeah, extremely lucky. In all honesty, we're going to break it down bit by bit of how lucky we really were. But it was lucky, but I will say this. Ipswich didn't half try and give us it at some points in that game with their inability to hold on to the ball and back passing. But yeah, we were very lucky to still come out with anything from that game.
Steve, I've got to say, what a lovely jumper you're wearing there. I mean, I'm looking at it now. Is that alpaca wool by any chance? You're on mute, mate.
Yeah, incredible. Do you want to guess where it came from as well, Chris?
You know, it's a sort of thing, and I'm going to say this for a reason, that an ex-girlfriend would have possibly bought you, because you could only a girlfriend that could buy you that, you wouldn't stick with them.
I mean, that's not really fair. To be fair, our relationship started. I knew her from school. A relationship started at a number of years ago, and then she fucked off to Peru for 6 weeks. So by the end of that, I was like, we're done. She bought me the jumper, and here we go. But yeah, it's alpaca wool from Machu Picchu. It's lovely and warm, and another wonderful jumper. And I'll keep bringing them out every week.
Oh, it's part of the show now. I'm going to make a note. I think we should do a actual image for this.
Steve's outfit of the week.
Steve, yeah, exactly. Yeah, would you say we were lucky?
Yeah, but you make your own luck in football, don't you? We've had a lot of bad luck recently. But yeah, I think the second half we were, well, if you look at the chances and the big chances they created, they only made 2 in the second half. They had 13 shots, only 2 on target. So actually, it was a case of they were huffing and puffing and couldn't get through. So yeah, I think we had no threat, so it was backs against the wall. But well done for the lads for defending to get a point. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, is a point enough? Only time will tell. But
that will come on to Clibbo, the man with the alpaca underwear. I mean,
yeah, it's a bit itchy.
Yeah, I mean, in that second half, I've got to say, for God's sake, I'll tell you what I think of it coming up later. But I mean, it was like all hands to the pump. It wasn't, I don't think, good defending at times. I think it was desperate defending.
It was. We kind of just lost. We lost our way again, and it does confuse me. This playing well one half and then backs to the wall. I mean, we know that Ipswich are going to come out, and we know that they're going to play attacking football and try and get the win. They need the points for automatics, because obviously it's a bit of a lottery, isn't it? If they don't go up automatically. But for me, it just stunk of what every other manager has done with this squad. You go 1-0 up, you try to defend it, and we know that we can't. He can't perform miracles in the time that he's had. But it didn't look like 2 defensive coaches had been with that team. You're right; it looked all calamitous. It didn't. The shape wasn't great. They were scrambling. Now, in some respect, that's better than what we've seen before, because you could say that there was effort there. But for me, that has to be addressed, and it has to be addressed immediately, because we get that again at Bristol, there's going to be murmurings, I fear.
Yeah. I believe, I've just been reading here, Brad, that Gary Rowett is going to attempt to do the Brazilian tactics against Bristol City, because in a recent game in Brazil between Cruzeiro and Atletico Mineiro, 23 players got sent off.
I mean, that would be impressive. Unfortunately, we don't even have 23 players fit to get sent off ourselves, let alone include Bristol City and that. So they'd probably end up worse off than us on suspensions.
But no, I just like 23. But
I saw it. I couldn't believe it was a full. There was no handbags. I tell you that much. There was kicking. There was punching. It was wild.
I don't know how the game wasn't called off, to be honest with you. But look, I'll put it up there. Let's get back to being serious again for a second. A point gained or 2 lost?
Oh, it's a point gained all day long. They're third in the league and flying. They had the bad start, and we were all giving them little jokes because we were doing okay, and they got their act together and flew up. Look, Clibbo was right in a way. It was a bit scrappy and a bit chaotic at times. But I don't know what people expect right now, because if we'd have gone trying to match them going all out attack, we'd have got battered 5-1. I mean, we could have ended up getting battered 5-1 if luck had not been on our side in that second half. Let's face it. Hamza Joe, really lucky. We'll get on to that later, I'm sure. Sorry, it's tickling my throat, but I'm sure I said something there that you might have just heard for it. But we're not going to go gun-hoing at them trying to go out there thing. Where I do agree with him a lot on is we can't keep doing that for 45 minutes. We need to be doing that for 20 minutes at the end, maybe trying to hold on at the end and engage them a little bit. But it's definitely a point game, Chris. You can't say it's not, because it's one of the high-flying teams and in form. This wasn't a game where I don't think any of us here, and I'm not even sure even in the prediction league, predicted Leicester to get anything. So that tells you everything you need to know when you get a point.
I mean, Steve, I've put it up there, and we're talking about injuries, and we've got 7 injuries coming up to tomorrow night. Since we've moved into Seagrave, I mean, look, I put that up earlier on the news pages. Leicester City injury crisis course revealed. And I look back, and when we won the Premier League, we had hardly any injuries. Vardy never missed a minute due to injury, missed a few due to sending off. But, I mean, I put there hashtag bring back Dave Rennie. 21 years he was with us. And, you know, he probably had less injuries in those 21 years since he's left. And can I just say that wasn't the first image I was going to put up. The first image had an image of a doctor from Manchester, but I was advised not to put that one up. but I mean, it's ridiculous, isn't it, Steve?
It is, but that's modern football. You know, they are coached to the inch of their life. They are primed and primed, and you know, any little niggle, and they decide not to play because they don't want to make it worse. So, yeah, I think going back sort of even 10 years, the physical toll on the players nowadays compared to back then, you know, it's a lot more. There's a lot more sort of fast twitch. There's a lot more twisting and turning. You know, stilky players. But it's the look of the draw. You know, people get injured all the time. It just has to be that we've got 7 now. If you go back a few months, there was it Coventry that had 5 or 6 players out as well. You know, it happens all the time. It's just modern football.
I mean, Richard just said Vars was always out injured. I don't think he was during that Premier League season, was he, when we won it? Because we had the ice tank or whatever it was, didn't we?
Mm. He also played like cast thumb, didn't he, sort of thing, for a while.
Yeah.
So I think Richard's maybe got the last 3 seasons in his mind a bit too close to comfort, where Vardy has been and was getting injured more and spending more times on there.
Clibbo, would you have taken? I mean, I said when I was doing the pre-match on Saturday, I actually said Ipswich 5, Leicester 0. All right, maybe I was a little bit tongue in cheek. Tom went 4-0 to Ipswich. Would you have taken this point at the start?
I predicted 1-1.
You would have done, yes.
I think. Well, I did. It's difficult because I don't go into any game, even though we're this lowly. I don't go into any game being happy with the draw, no matter where we are in the league. I just still look at that team and go, how? I mean, I'll be honest with you. I've said from the start of the season, this league's rubbish. And I have to say, I don't think Ipswich were that good. In fact, I thought they were really ordinary, to be honest with you. And that's why I'm slightly disappointed that we didn't come out swinging in the second half, because I think the game was there to take to them. So, yeah, I am a little bit disappointed with the draw, if I'm honest. But given hindsight and that second half, you'd have to say a draw was an adequate result, given that we were absolutely battered in that second half. So, yeah, bit bittersweet for me. But the point will be more relevant come tomorrow night about 10 o'clock, because if we lose tomorrow, then it was an absolutely terrible result.
Yep, completely agree. That's what I've said as well. Like if you back it up with a performance tomorrow, then fantastic. That's 4 points gained. That's an incredible, you know, because it hopefully pushes us further away from the relegation zone. But if you lose, yeah, it's point because we don't need points at 1 point in this game. We want 3 points going forward. Points won't get you survival.
Brad, do you kind of raise your eyebrows then?
Yeah, I don't understand how people can say that they're never going to be happy with a point when you're taking on people. We're away from home against Ipswich, who are absolutely high-flying in form. We'd have bit your left arm off for points away from home last season. You have to take the circumstances as it is. And I agree that we need to back it up, and it needs to be with a win, because it's got to happen. It's got to happen at some point. Otherwise, the inevitable will happen. That trapdoor will go, and West Brom will find the win first. And if they do, that they will get the confidence before us. But I just don't understand how people turn their nose up at a point and make out Ipswich weren't all that. They absolutely battered us. They just had an off day in front of goal. There is no way that game could not have been 5-1 playing the way we were, or 4-0 like you guys actually predicted. We defended resolutely, and it will sound very strange when it comes to the ratings and that later when making a statement. But anyone who goes, "No, I'm not happy, we got a point away at Portman Road," they played 3 games in a row and won them all, and we're going for 12 points out of 12. I'm ecstatic with a point, especially with the game I saw. To say you're not, it's just I think it's a bit arrogant to say that. Oh, on our team sheet, I'm disappointed with a draw. We're down the bottom for a reason, whether you like it or not. We are struggling for confidence. Take the point. Be happy with it. I just don't understand why people wouldn't be happy with the point.
I look forward to Brad shouting this next season when we've got a 1-0 draw at Meadow Lane as we're fighting.
Oh, no, then I'll completely flip ship and join you. Like, that Brad from last season was absolute rubbish.
I mean, would you have felt differently, Clibbo, if that had been we'd got a point against Sheffield Wednesday? I mean, that you could turn around and say, no, that wasn't fucking good enough. But you're talking about a team that could have gone into the automatics if they'd beaten us.
No, because I generally think that this league, if you look at the teams, they're all much of a muchness. It's just how they're organised by their manager and how they're managed and their attitudes are managed. I don't think it's arrogant at all for going into a game and expecting to beat anyone, because anyone can beat anyone in this league, as has been demonstrated all season and years gone by. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We can't have this attitude of, oh, we're pleased we got out of that because we could have got smashed. I'm not pleased that we played the second half the way we did, because we invited that. They didn't all of a sudden turn up being Real Madrid. We invited that, and I've seen it all season. And somebody needs to put that right. If we played for another 45 minutes like we did in the first half, I don't see what we had to be frightened of, and I think we could have won that game. And there was no difference between them up there and us down there.
We've got things to be worried about. We've got things to do. I'm going off screen for a minute. It's just, I can't believe the naivety I'm listening to. It's absolutely naivety.
We have a difference of opinion here. I can see it from both sides.
What I will say is that I see where Brad is coming from. Like, you know, a point against Ipswich, in the grand scheme of things, is a good result. But I think it's more of the point of the fact that if you look at how we played in the first half or the second half, we would have been really annoyed if the first half was that. And actually, I think we'd all be happy, delighted if we got a point if the first half was backs against the wall and then we scored and we drew. But at this point, we've got 10 games to go. We need as many points as we can get. And sitting back at 45 minutes to hold on to a draw against Ipswich just doesn't seem good enough for me. We need to win games.
No, and we were with Clippo. I mean, in that you don't go into any game wanting anything other than a win. You know, if you're a sportsman of any type, you know, even if it's England cricket playing Australia, they don't go out saying, well, we're just going to lose this one again. You go out wanting to win, don't you?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't seen them play in the Ashes, Chris. I think they probably did go out to lose. They were fucking atrocious.
But you know what I mean? You know what I mean, though, Clivo, don't you? You want to win points, of course you do.
I made it very clear, which is why I'm a little bit shocked at Brad's reaction. I made it very clear at the start that in hindsight, after the game, yes, it was a good point. But I don't think we need people to be going and having the attitude that we're happy with a point at this stage, because we matched them and were better than them in the first half for large parts of that. And we did create some chances. They did as well. If we'd have matched them the same the second half, there's no reason why we shouldn't be disappointed that we came away with a draw.
Yeah, I know. I could say, like Steve, I can see it from both sides. I'm happy with the point because I expected us to get battered. So actually, on that way, like you say, hindsight's a very good thing, isn't it? And we can all sit there afterwards and go, "Oh yeah, that was a good point," or whatever. At 1-0 up, I'm thinking, "Yeah, we're at the bottom three, and this is going to be good." And then they equalise, and really, you shouldn't be when you looked at that. There's only going to be one team score in the second half, and that was Ipswich. And our defending wasn't sort of top class, Arsenal back four defending. It was throwing people in front of the ball. And when they equalised, sorry.
Chris, don't tell me that you didn't think Abdul was going to score from 65 yards. Come on now. He tried his best.
I thought, honestly, they had the crossbar challenge. I thought he'd gone for the corner flag challenge, to be honest with you.
I actually missed that. I didn't see that.
You didn't see much, mate. You didn't miss much of me.
I missed him do that. It would have pissed me off.
Yeah. I was listening to it on the radio and I was raging. I was like, for fuck's sake, Abdul, what are you doing?
If it had gone in, we'd have all been going, "No, you can do it twice," wouldn't we? So, look, we're football fans, we're fickle and what have you. So, look, this was the starting lineup. I don't want to go through the starting lineup in too much detail because we talk about the same players every week, so we're just sort of, each week repeating sort of thing. What I do want to talk about, though, Steve, is number 5 goalkeeper.
Harry French.
What does that tell you? Or for me, it tells me everything about what a fucking shithole this club is and the way it is run. Because we have signed, Bekovic has got injured, I get that. So Stolarczyk come in and he had a very good game. But then suddenly, this Vitis that everybody's saying how fantastic he was, I don't think he was. He played 5 games in Spain and he happened to keep Madrid out for 70-odd minutes or whatever. That doesn't make him, the new Peter Bonetti, if you're old enough to know who he is. No, exactly, thank you. I knew one of you would do. But we signed him. We got him on a free, apparently. So that probably means we're paying him more money. And then suddenly, he's injured as well. It's like we signed Lascelles. He's injured. Now, Ramsey, I get, Steve, right? Because we wouldn't have got him if he wasn't coming back from injury. That's why we were allowed to sign him. Why he's not been fucking sent back, I don't know. But, let's carry on paying his wages while he's injured, shall we? But, I mean, what... Do we only sign play? I mean, I made a joke the other day that, they come in, they have the medical, and, whoever it is, Dr. Crippen or whoever says, "Sorry, John, he's as fit as a fiddle." Or we're not signing him then. Or if he goes around and says, "Oh, John, this guy, you sure you want to sign him? He's got a really bad history of back problems." "Oh, yeah, get him signed, he'll be good for us." What a fucking shambles.
Yeah, I mean, you can't help players getting injured, though. It just happens. Like, if you look at the goalkeepers, Begovic, he's at an age now where, look, if I get a bad back getting out of bed, and he's still playing as a professional goalkeeper, so, and he's older than me, but not by much. Vites looks like he's picked up a little niggle of an injury, but again, we haven't seen him, so whatever. And Harry French is just a youth goalkeeper that's on the bench because that's all we had. So, I think it's a bit of a bit too much to get annoyed about with a goalkeeper injury because it happens. Lascelles,
it's the players we sign.
But I mean, I don't think it necessarily is.
Look, we got a bargain for Lascelles. Look, ex-captain, great defender, brilliant. We were getting him on a free. He played 90 minutes and he was out injured.
Yeah, but you also have to remember, Chris, the market we were looking at, wasn't massive. We weren't going to sign great players. If you're looking for a leader, Lascelles ticks those boxes. And if he can play 6 games till the end of the season, I'm happy with that as long as he keeps us up. But, Ramsey, that was always going to happen. I always think he was going to break down because you come back from that injury and you've had surgery and stuff. The next things that go are your hamstrings. And that's what happened in the first injury he got. again, that's life. It happens. But yeah, I mean, the biggest issue is the fact that we didn't have any money to spend in the summer, so we signed loan players, and we were sort of bargain basement looking, weren't we? You can say that JJ was a good signing because he has worked out to be really well. But even, when he picked up that injury at Wrexham, he should have been gone off straight away. He shouldn't have been given the extra 15 minutes on the pitch. But they let him play on until half-time, and that's where another injury sort of occurs. You make it worse if you carry on. They should have taken him off straight away, but they let him carry on. It was stupid. But look, hopefully in the summer we don't sign injured players. But it's the gamble, isn't it? Everyone's, I'm running at the moment. I've got a knee injury. It happens. That's life.
Your thought on this, Clibbo?
Well, I've got more things that are not injured. I've got more things that are injured that are not injured. So,
You're getting on a little bit here, aren't you? If you were a car, would have taken you to the Rackers yard. Let's be honest.
You're not wrong. No, I think because we're Leicester City fans and we've got more invested in Leicester City players. It's like when you see an unusual colour car. You see it once and you see a load of you see it all the time, don't you? It's like that with Leicester, I think. We're looking at under the microscope a bit more. I'm sure there's a lot of teams that have got a similar amount of injuries. I think the thing is, it does seem to be our loan players. Do you know what I mean? It does feel like it's our loan players that are getting out injured, like JJ, Ramsey, Lascelles. Do you know what I mean? I think it's under the spotlight a bit more. But yes, it's unfortunate. But at the same time, we should have a good enough squad of players to compete in this league if they're managed well.
Oh, indeed.
You don't sound convinced, Chris.
No, no, I'm not. But look, it's all about opinions. You know what I mean?
So I've just clicked on 4 different sides in the Championship, right? So Wrexham, Bristol City, Millwall, and Hull. And okay, Hull, you look at their injuries, they've got 3, 4, 5, 6. They've got 6. Wrexham have got 5. Millwall have got 6. Who else did I say? Bristol City, they've got 4. So it just, you're about, especially towards this end of the season, they've had a busy Christmas period. They're still playing 3 games in a week. You're bound to pick up injuries. That's just the nature of football.
Yeah, I think the problem is in this league as well, because there's so many games. If you get hamstrings, I mean, you'll know, Steve. I mean, I basically stopped playing because my hamstrings they feel like they get shorter over the years. The more you injure them, and they haven't got that elasticity anymore. And at the top level, where it's elite, and they're a lot fitter than us, I think they're a little bit more precious than us as well. So. If you've got an injury, you can play on a Sunday afternoon, can't you? Kick it up, go for a pint afterwards. It's a bit different. I'm not saying... And I mean, the other thing is, players from bygone years were playing on mud pitches. Their hamstrings were a lot tougher, weren't they?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, all I'll say is I will bow down to your 2 guys' superior knowledge. As somebody whose only athleticism is playing a game of drafts, I don't tend to get injured too much. So I'll go along with you 2 on that one. But I just seem to, every week, it seems to be somebody else we've just brought in that's getting injured. Happens, obviously, to experienced players as well. But let's have a look what the big bad boss had to say post-game.
Well-earned point, very difficult place to come. How do you summarise that game?
Yeah, exactly what you said, a well-earned point. I thought we were excellent first half. I thought we got in some brilliant positions. Defensively, I thought our structure was really, really good. I think they started to change and tweak 1 or 2 players and the height of their players when they built possession, and I thought we dealt with it reasonably well. They always cause problems down the left-hand side. I think the directness of Davis's runs, it always means that you almost sacrifice a winger to run back with him, or you take a risk on opening in spaces to leave your winger high, and it was a little bit of both for us. So yeah, I thought we got in some great positions, deserved to go a goal ahead, and coming in at half-time I was really, really pleased. I think the challenge we've had in the games is just maintaining that energy and maintaining that quality, and of course you've also got an opponent that is going to be super determined to come out and pin you back second half like they've done so often. I've seen this Ipswich team under Kieran score so many late goals. I thought we actually, whilst we were disappointed to concede, I thought they were really on top of the second half, and we actually defended the box pretty well for the whole of it.
You showed the quality that we know the players possess. Brilliant goal from Patson Daka after a very fine delivery as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this team has shown quality every training session. I think that that's what I've been so pleased about. I've been so pleased that they've started to show that quality that we've got. I think everybody outside looking at Leicester's squad, looking at our squad, probably always asks the same question. Do the players want to work hard enough, or do the players want to do the other side of a game? And I think we have done in the 3 games. I cannot fault the players. In fact, if anything, I'm saying we need to play with more quality, because we've got that quality, and coming to places like this and causing the problems that we did first half, I think shows how capable the group is. But I like to see the other side, because it's there. What we need to do now is we need to start piecing together both sides of the game in one performance, particularly at home. We've got 6 home games out of the next 9. I think there's a real opportunity for us to really try and put our foot on the gas a little bit. But I was pleased with today. I thought we worked incredibly hard. I think the crowd showed their appreciation at the end. We're out on our feet. We've had to make lots of different changes to stay in the game, and I think the crowd certainly applauded the players' efforts.
How important was that kind of moment of real unity at the end? Players, yourself, fans, and how important is that going to be over the coming weeks and months as this season draws to a close?
Yeah, look, I think it's so important that we all stand together. I think that's a really important part of it. We know that. I said that when I first came in. I spoke about that camaraderie and that connection between the fans and the players. Our fans have travelled in great numbers again, in great voice. It makes such a massive difference. I massively appreciate that. I know that's also hard to do when you perhaps haven't seen the season that you want to see as a fan. It's easy to think I'd rather be doing something else on a Saturday afternoon, but they came in good voice, and we certainly appreciate it. And hopefully they've seen a team fighting. We're in our sort of embryonic state, if you like, in terms of the work we've been able to do. We've had game after game, so it's been quite difficult to change too much, but at least I think we've got a nice structure about us. We want to certainly improve in possession.
2 very big games coming up, of course, at home in quick succession. Tuesday comes around quickly. This is clearly a very important game, isn't it?
Yeah, really important week for us. Really important week. I think that's kind of started with this away performance again. We've had 3 out of the first 4 away from home. You can argue that 3 out of our first 4 games are against the top 3 form teams in the division in many ways. So again, we knew it would be a tough task, and we're starting with a team that's been pretty low on confidence and lacking sort of wins. So we knew it'd be difficult, but actually I'm quite pleased with lots of it. I think we should be sat here now with 5 points. We should have won the Stoke game late on, and I think then the 2 away games after that, it started to look like decent points away at Middlesbrough and away at Ipswich. So I think it showed what we can do, but it's a big week coming up. You're correct.
And did they show again today that fight, the spirit that is going to be required when Ipswich came knocking at the end? And I guess you need to bottle that, taking into Tuesday and then Saturday and then after that.
Yeah, listen, good teams do both sides of the game. It's simple. You look at any team at any level of any football that are successful, they can defend, they can work hard together, they can press together, they can do that for 95 minutes, and they can play and attack. And I think for us at the moment, we're trying to do that. We're probably ended up in moments where perhaps we're doing one more than the other. You saw in some games we've attacked quite well and maybe left some opportunities for the opposition to attack. So we want to find the balance. I think it's important to find the balance, but I definitely see a team fighting. I definitely see a team that cares, and I'm really pleased that they can at least have that, in some of these tough away games.
Thoughts on that, Clibbo? I mean, when I listen to him, he does install me with some confidence.
Yeah, I think he speaks a lot of sense. I think he was keeping a lid on his emotions, well trained media wise. I think he made some good points. He said it how it was, really, wasn't he? But the one thing that stood out for me is when he said we're in the embryonic stage, which, although I agree with him, I think what he's trying to do, what ultimately he's trying to get, maybe need more than 10 games. And that's my worry. I could be proved wrong. I hope I am proved wrong. And I still think there's a little bit better to come. I just hope it's enough to get us out the bottom three, even if it's on goal difference. I don't care. Just get out of that, just get that monkey off our back.
Steve, I get what Glibbo's saying there, but in a way, would you want him to come out and go, yeah, you know what, we can do this, and I'm really, really confident, and we're going to get, a win on Tuesday, and we're going to, keep fighting the normal manager speak? Because I actually think, give us a bit of honesty, because I wouldn't believe him if he sat there and he gave all the normal sort of manager spunk. You're on mute again, mate.
Bloody hell. How sick and tired were we all by the end of Marty's tenure when he was being like, we need to go again, you need to work on the training ground, put the effort, same old, every week. It's nice to have somebody that says it how it is, and he's not sort of pulling any punches. It's a breath of fresh air, in all honesty. And he's a manager that, the more I see him, okay, the football is atrocious. Don't get me wrong; it's not nice on the eye to go watch. That's for sure. But if he picks up points and he gets us safe, I wouldn't be against him being the manager next year. But it all depends on what league we're in more than anything.
I mean, we're going to just say hi and welcome back to Brad. He's just said there he's put his toys away and he's come back in. Brad, did you hear any of that?
Yeah, I did. And you know me, Chris. I watch the post matches, no matter how depressing they are, especially over some of the games this season. Most notably in oppositions coming up when we lost to QPR. That was very depressing to listen to. But yeah, I think that further expresses Gary Rowett's man management and how he manages on a regular basis. This is sort of what you got when you dived into him. He looks at an opposition and he sensed the change. And he made the point there, which was the point I was kind of leaning on a little bit when I was saying we could have tried to match Ipswich, pound for pound, but he could have left us exposed because McKenna made the changes. He made the move first, which Leicester were kind of banking on them to blink first, which they did because they kind of had to because they were losing to us and the crowd were getting on them. They needed to see something where it could have left gaps. Players could have been caught flat-footed in two minds, and they could have got that goal back earlier. And I know 15 minutes is still a long time in football, but the fact that it came at the back end of the second half and not like 3 minutes into the second half probably helped us a bit to ride what we thought the momentum was. And I like what I hear because I know someone has said there, I think it's Mark said talk is cheap and on about Marty in his press conferences. No, Marty's press conference was this. How you say this in English? And it was just like the same boring crap every week. There was no different. At least with Gary, you get the feeling that he's very aware of the problems. He's very aware of it. And unfortunately, whether we like it or not, the next nine games aren't going to be easy to watch. They're going to be scrappy. They're going to be crap. They're going to be, saying what Clibbo said, looking at the squad going, how are they playing like this with what we've got? But it's going to have to dig in. And if he gets the right results, I am with Steve, whether it's a goal, whether it's 4 points, whether it's the last kick of the last game against Blackburn in the last game of the season that keeps us up, I'd be willing to give him the go going forward.
I think Brad there was trying to make up for all the time he wasn't in the show with that answer.
There you go. I'll see you in half hour, guys.
No, I don't want you putting your boot through the floor and kicking Clibbo's head in, okay? Are you two going to be good boys now?
Okay. Always on. I'm the one that threw everything around. I've got my pacifier now. I'll be all right.
Okay. Steve, look, we're just going back to injuries. Ronald makes a good point there, actually. Modern football boots are like slippers. The shin pads are literally...
I like that, shin pads. They're awful.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, there is no protection there for them, is there, really?
No, there isn't. And that's part of the problem. I mean, you understand why they've made the boots so light and thin is because they're all about being quick. But look at the amount of ACLs that have happened, or ankle ligament damages and stuff. It happens all the time, and that's because of modern footwear.
Well, you never used to get free kicks or players going down injured because they had the foot stood on.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and like you say, shin pads, they're so small that you might as well just be wearing a tampon, because that's as much as you're going to get from it. It's literally saving nothing.
I think the other thing is when you injure sort of, because like that, there's not much protection on the sort of metatarsal area, everything's connected. Foot going up, just injuring a metatarsal creates more injuries and more problems. I mean, we've seen it over the years, haven't we? I mean, the studs are not as violent as the ones that I used to have to screw into my boots, and that's a good thing. But really, that has to be looked at, because there's got to be better technology than wearing a pair of slippers.
Remember when you used to go out and buy a pair of boots and they used to give you a little like spanner with it
Allen
to get
key.
one off? Yeah, well, that's going back. I think Steve, you meant a pad rather than an actual tampon.
No, you could put a tampon there. It might be slightly more protection, but it's not. I guess it always depends on what pad you buy. There's several different ones, isn't there? So the extra leakage, I don't know. Chris, you're getting to that point in your life where you might need them. So
I'm way past that, mate, now. Going to Wetherspoons, I'm going to make sure I sit at the end where the toilets are, otherwise I'd never bloody make it. Something he said there, which is very true, and I'd obviously realised but not really looked at it like that. Of the 4 games he's had in charge, 3 of them have been away. But the one game that we've had at home is the one game he's lost.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is it's a baptism of fire, isn't it? When you come into this league, you don't really get a lot of, we let Marty off for quite a long time because we said, he didn't really have a pre-season with these players, blah, blah, blah. He's came in, he's got 4 games on the bounce. So I do have some, sympathy there, but really all he has to do is to come in and simplify things for the players. I think that really is his objectives. Simplify it, look at what he's got. How can he get the best out of them? Marty never did that. Marty had a system, players that didn't fit it, and he was stubborn. And it clearly has got us into a lot of trouble. So I'm just, I like Gary Rowett. I always liked him as a player. I thought he was an honest player. And I think that's came across in his interview. He's an honest guy. I think, obviously, he's not going to come out like you want, Chris, and go, it just doesn't happen. It's in football. Managers don't come out and tell you what's going on, truthful.
I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't expect that. But he's more honest than the normal claptrap that we get,
Yeah. I think the other thing is
during the week, and it'll be different, and they don't do this on the training. You know what I'm saying? The normal sort of book of excuses.
Yeah. Where I did feel a little bit sorry for Marty was when he was, initially when he was coming out and saying things. There was a bit of a language barrier. It's much easier for us English boys to get on board with Rowett because we can, the dynamics in his voice, we understand it, whereas a Spaniard, it doesn't come across the same way. So I did have sort of sympathy with him there, but towards the end, I didn't want to hear any of it.
I think we all know which way Clibbo voted in Brexit there, folks. Brad, I didn't want to. I didn't understand Spanish.
I actually went Spanish. I actually went night school to learn Spanish.
Did you?
I'll have you. Yes.
Tell us something in Spanish then.
Sí.
Wasn't wasted then, was it?
No, I was going to move out to Fuerteventura. That's why.
Right. Brad, look, we're not going to go too much into the team. We did discuss the goalkeeping situation whilst you were on your break. But what I do sort of certain, because it's the same players every week, so we're just sort of doing the same things. But I want to bring a couple of things up for you guys to talk about this. First of all, Ricardo unable to play 2 games in a week under Cifuentes, and now he's played 4 in 15 days.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that tells you about Marty and any other coach that's told him he can't play. I mean, we all know personally that we feel a bit like he's the Vardy of last year. We kind of maybe need to move him on and start putting the young talent out there now. But it's odd, isn't it? Everybody was adamant. Marty, even I think Andy King was adamant. Can't play him. We want him Saturday, can't play him Tuesday. Yeah, we have to take him off at 75 minutes on Saturday just to make sure he's ready for 75 minutes next Saturday. And it's like, well, how can he suddenly do it now? What's changed in 3 weeks or however long it's even been Gary Rowett's been here, that suddenly he's gone, actually, yeah, I can play these. And it's like, well, either you can or you can't, mate. And if you can, why the fuck haven't you been demanding to play it every week? Who's been telling you can't? You're supposed to be the club captain. Steve, over to you. Apparently,
unless he wants to go to the toilet because he's
No. So on one of the recent When You're Smiling podcasts, they spoke to Ricardo and Owen asked him this question, and Ricky said that it was the manager's choice. He was more than happy to play week in, week out, but it was up to the manager. The manager was the one picking the minutes for him.
I think his job role has slightly changed, which probably helps a little bit. I think his job role is now to defend as a right back, which eliminates quite a lot of that positional change and running.
Well, he was actually. I was surprised how often he was actually in midfield in this game, but not as much as he used to be. Not as much as he used to be. Next point, Brad. Well, no, let's start with you, Clibbo. This surprised me. Dakova Reed coming back and Mukasa being dropped to the bench. Now, I got a little bit confused with this because to me, Mukasa had been my player of the match for 2 of the previous 3 or 4 games. I don't know how you can drop somebody. It would be like dropping Jordan James when he was sort of fit and at his peak. And do you remember, when we first got promoted in that first, when we did the Great Escape, before that, you could predict Nigel Pearson's team 11 games in advance. It was the same teams every single week, and you got that consistency. Then he started changing it when we got promoted. And I feel like that's the point. You have a good game, and then you dropped. And it's not like he's bringing back Lionel Messi. He's bringing back Dakova Reed, which, yes, he plays well in that position. But Mukasa, younger, fitter, what was he thinking?
Yeah, I mean, you can bet your bottom dollar that he'll play tomorrow. He'll start tomorrow. I don't mind Reed playing as a 10 because 1 in 3 games is quite effective. But for me,
somebody else has thrown the toys out the pram.
For me, at this stage of the season, you play your best team every game. Because we don't have the luxury of saying. I mean, I think that the manager, the team, and everyone involved will have sat down, looked at the fixtures, and gone, "We can get a point there, we can get a win there," and they all do that, don't they? And sort of try and figure out where they can win games. But we know it doesn't go like that. And to me, with 10 games left, you have to 11 at the time. You just put your best team out. That lad will run all day. He's 18. He's got hamstrings to burn.
Yeah. Steve, welcome back, mate. Did you throw his toys out the pram?
No, internet cut out for a split second. I don't know what happened there, but yeah. He's got
hamstrings. Got attacked by our backer.
There's only you left to go, Clibbo. If you want to pop out for a minute, feel free.
Oh, no.
Brad,
No.
your thoughts on this one? Because to me, and I like with and I'm going to say I agree with Libbo yet again. I'm not averse to Reed playing in that role.
Football friends.
Yeah.
At some points, I say, look, get him in that position. But when you've got something like Mukasa, who, if I got to choose between the two, I'm sorry, it'd be Mukasa, every day of the week and twice on a Sunday, as they say.
Yeah, it's actually a bit of a strange one, but not for maybe the reason that you think it is, because obviously the initial setup was expecting Ipswich to be every man at us, 10 men in our half, and we were going to get camped in, which ended up being how the second half was, not how the first half was. They were a bit off their game a little bit in that first 45, which probably looked at our own plans a bit more. And I think the reason behind Dick Overreed is he is more defensively minded than Mukasa, and we probably were looking to be in a situation sort of how we were by the 70 odd mark to potentially chuck him on and try and get us back in the game or go for the win. It just seemed to happen a bit in reverse of how we were hoping, because it was a strange one. I prefer Mukasa, but I also see where Gary Rowett was probably thinking, let's make sure that first 45 isn't a disaster and we're not 4-0 down like other teams have been against Ipswich.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to file this one, Steve, in the box that says things I never thought I'd ever say on an OTID TV podcast before. And that is Patson Daka's got 3 goals this season. Never.
Yeah, and it was a good finish as well, actually.
Oh, should we have a look at it? Let's have a look at it. And I've got it here.
He's come around again. I like to think Leicester might be a little bit more composed.
It's going to be Thomas to swing it in from this left-hand side, and it's a good ball, and it's a goal! Patson Daka runs off and celebrates. It could be a massive moment for Leicester. He is mobbed by his teammates. Wonderful ball in, super finish. Ipswich 0, Leicester 1.
Well, how's that for a little bit of composure? I mean, it came from a different source, a different facet of the game there. A set piece. Leicester not renowned for them over recent years, you have to say, but it's a reasonable delivery from Luke Thomas from a long way out. It's sort of gone across the face of the defensive line. Patson Daka came flashing in from nowhere.
I do love that Matt Elliott was like, it was a decent cross by Thomas. No, that was a really good cross by Thomas. Let's give him the plaudits there. That was a good cross. And when Daka doesn't have to think about something, he can finish. It's only when you have to spend a second thinking about anything that isn't, just running in a straight line, he just can't do it.
Clibo, when I'm looking at that, and tell me if I'm wrong here, and I think I probably am, but it was almost like he mishit it.
I think initially it does look that way, but no, I don't think it's as bad as it is. I think what you've got to look at it in the whole is that what happened was somebody crossed a ball, there was a striker in the box, and they finished it. That's something that we have not been doing. Sometimes I think we're trying to play like the perfect Arsenal goal. And I think going forward, this is why I've advocated for potentially having Thomas as a wing back, because he is a wing back. He's not a left winger. He's not a left fullback. He's a wing back. And that was a good cross. It was dangerous. The spin on it, the trajectory on the ball was like playing top spin on a snooker table, and it's very difficult to judge where that's particularly with the balls the way they are these days. They move all over the place. Once that bounces, it's very hard to judge where it's going to go. And I think, like Steve said, and there's been a lot of strikers a lot of very good strikers like that. If you give them time to think, their instincts have gone. He's just proved if you put the ball where he needs it, he'll finish it. And hell knows why we haven't been doing that all season.
he did everything that you'd want your striker to do. Ran into the box late, knew where he was going. Give him an extra year, Brad?
Well, I mean, if this is the sort of form he's on, why not give him the contract, pay him whatever he wants, as Ray once said.
My tongue is firmly planted in my cheek here.
So is mine, with hints of dash of sarcasm sprinkled on top of it. But no, I mean, look, it was a good ball. I mean, he channeled in his prime Emil Heskey with his run into box and finish. And well, I mean, like you said, Chris, that may actually make him our top goal scorer this season, if not definitely out of the two strikers. That's scary.
I think he's our 5th top goal scorer as things
go. And that's a scary thought when he's only got like 3 goals this season. But look, if he's going to keep doing it, at least we might finally get some thanks for the money we spent on him if he can do it for the end of the season.
Can you imagine if we need a win on the last game of the season against Blackburn and we win 1-0 and it's a Daka volley?
Oh, mate, you think Celtic Rangers was bad last night? There'll be a mobbing of all degree.
If you saw Brad leave earlier, right? Imagine that, but at a football stadium with me.
Things will be up.
Right, let's speed through these now because we're still going to get the points scores in. Steve, let's come to you with this one because we did mention it earlier. Ipswich should have had 2 clear penalties, Kieran McKenna told BBC Radio Suffolk. And he's also come out today and said that he has got PGMOL agreeing with him.
I mean, look, the second one was a clear penalty. Like, Hamza wasn't looking at the ball; he was going directly for the player. The first one, I mean, he looks like he clips his heels, but in a fast-moving game without VAR, you're not going to give it because that's just football. My main issue here is that yes, you gave the referee a decision to make, but you've been throwing yourself on the floor all game, so you're less likely to get a penalty if you just do that. And on Jack's channel, we have a bloke on there every week called Rich, who's an Ipswich fan, and even he said, look, it was a penalty, but if you fall over a lot, if you give the referee an actual decision to make, and you've been known to do it all season, you're not going to get it, and that's as simple as that. So yes, it was a penalty, and if anyone disagrees with me, I think you need your head checking, but it's the ref made the choice, and you got to live with it. That's life.
He has said though he's being pragmatic. He's not he's not going to be shouting for VAR in the Championship, but you're going to be annoyed, I suppose, if you feel they've been going against you. But yet I did say at half time, I think it was, that they were going to bring on the substitute was the teacher for dark arts, because they were throwing everybody down, trying to get every attack. Somebody went down.
Well, let's not forget they were crying about. Well, sorry, they were laughing at us when we were saying when KDH got fouled a couple of years ago against them. We should have had a Stonewall penalty then, and we didn't get it. And they were like, "Ha ha ha! This is what you get."
Yeah,
same thing, mate. Ha ha ha! This is what you get.
Yes, yeah. And I think I'm just trying to confirm it, but I think the PGMOL have got in contact with him, but apparently I think it's Kevin French, who's actually a Leicester fan. So what are you doing, Kevin? But Clibbo, let's have a look at this one. Just going on further on to that. Here we go then, just backing that point up there. Kieran McKenna, who says referees organisation PGMO, and I've forgotten the L off there, have been in touch to confirm the controversial call not to penalise Hamza Chowdhury for pushing over Cedric Kipré late in the game was wrong. I mean, look, you just accept these things, don't you? I mean, do the PGMO need to get involved in that?
No, they don't, not at all. I was listening to a piece with, I don't know if any of you boys have watched this, Simon Jordan. He was talking to Danny, what's his name on TalkSport? Danny Murphy. And he was spot on, actually. I don't always agree with him, but he was saying there has to be a culture change, because you don't get this in cricket or rugby unless it's a really, really exceptionally, unbelievably bad decision, which the whole world could see. then just move on, because we're creating this thing now where, we're talking about things. It's done. It's gone. It was a decision. It's hard. You can't see these things all the time. There's tons of decisions all over the pitch that players don't get because the game is so quick. I mean, unless you have a referee in each half, you're not going to see all of these things. It's happened to us. It's happened to every single team. Why make an issue of it? And like Steve said, they've had it as well. They've had it as well, and it's time that we stopped putting stuff like this under the microscope, because we're actually worsening the culture of football.
Brad.
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly add on to that point as well with what Clipper was sort of saying. The PGMOL, because I can't say it all at once without having to look at that word very, very slow. They're not helping themselves. Pugmol, yeah. They're not helping themselves either by coming out and saying, "Oh yeah, we should have given you 2 penalties," but you didn't. So why are you admitting it? Whatever happened to the no comment? We see it all the time on the news. Something controversial. You see them going, "Oh, we've reached out to so and so, and they've declined to comment." What does it matter if they would have given you 2 penalties? Does that mean then that Ipswich I think they play Stoke on the Tuesday or Wednesday night in the midweek, right? Does that mean that they go, "Oh, by the way, Stoke, just so you know, we should have given Ipswich 2 penalties against Leicester, so we're going to start the game with 2 penalties for Ipswich tonight"? No, just tell everyone and go, "Decision was made. Shut up. Stop that ass."
I mean, there's no guarantee they would have scored that penalty anyway.
No, true. Still,
But you got to look at the fact of, if we moan about VAR, so then we can't moan when we haven't got VAR, and it does balance up. We prefer. I've been screaming to get rid of VAR and just bring back the human element. And if you're going to have the human element, things are going to go against you. Decisions are going to be wrong, but they do balance out. They had that Kieran Dewsbury Hall, and now we've got ours. But I want to move on.
Even if you look this season, Chris, Ricardo should have been sent off against Birmingham for a terrible tackle when we beat them 2-0 at home, right? We didn't get it there. I don't think the Ramsey was a red card. Again, on his debut, I thought that was a bit harsh. But everything evens itself out. Like over the season, nobody's really hard done to by this point. It's not like they're making the same decisions every week against the same clubs.
No. Right. Brad, was this another 45-minute performance? Because, they came out in the second half and we looked at that and thought, "Oh, hello, they're going to come at us. This is going to be Leicester. We're going to concede after about 3 or 5 minutes into the second half." We didn't, but we weren't in that second half at all, were we?
No, we were very much defensive and very much passengers for that half, and that's where I think we didn't really try and attack the fact that Ipswich had played. We'd had the week off. They'd had to play because of their games and catch up. They'd played 3 games in close proximity to each other. So whilst they were on good form, there was a moment in that game where probably about 5 minutes before their goal, Leicester missed the opportunity to completely change maybe not the formation, because let's face it, it's written into a contract that they signed, they must play this way. But they could have changed the personnel a lot more and maybe changed that pace of the movement, because I did say this. I was happy with the point before the game. I was happy with the point after the game, especially with the controversial of the penalty and the amount of chances Ipswich created in its entirety. But we cannot, and it will relegate us. There is oppositions we play, like you mentioned, Sheffield Wednesday, where we can't just go good for 45 and then sit back for 45 and hope we don't concede. We will go down if we do this every week going forward.
That's the big thing, isn't it, Steve? I mean, I put up there a scene from Zulu, because at times that is what it was like in that second half. We were Rorke's Drift, and they were the Zulus coming at us over and over and over again. In fact, I don't think we hardly got into their half in the second half. That has to be sorted out, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. You know, especially if you look at the amount of games you've got at home. I don't think if you're playing at home, you can set up like that. I don't think that the fan base will allow it. You know, they get booed already for making certain decisions. Imagine sitting back for 45 minutes to try and defend the lead. But like you say, it was like, you know, Zulu and the second half was, but they only had 13 shots. Only 2 of them were on target. So, you know, their XG in that second half was 1.14. So yeah, not even a goal and a half effectively. So I don't actually think they did all that much. You know, they didn't do anything certainly to win the game, that's for sure.
Well, there's the momentum, Clibbo. I mean, I'm not necessarily saying that they had more shots or anything like that, but at the end of the day, they were camped out in our half. I mean, according to the stats at the end of the game, they had 18 shots. They had 5 in the first half. So, you know, that's 13 of those shots came in the second half. We had 5 at half time. We had 7 at full time. But when you look at that, and you've got to remember there that the blue is Ipswich and the yellow is Leicester, where is there any yellow in that second half? I think there's one bit of a dot there that's yellow. I mean, if you look at that, no way would you have predicted that game finish 1-1.
No, and I think there's a fundamental problem with that, with the way we defend, and I've been observing this. We've got players in our defence that don't know when to kick it long or to look and pass. It just seems very random. If we just keep kicking it long, we're inviting the pressure, and that's what kept happening. There are players that have got the skill level to hold the ball for a few seconds and just take that pressure off. And we don't seem to know when to do that. And that's something I've noticed about Leicester's defence. And we're inviting pressure by just lumping it. And I know people will say, well, you know, just kick it long. There's a time and a place when to do it. What I don't agree with is the other side of it, where we dilly-dally and piss about with it because we don't seem to be able to find a pass and end up losing the ball.
I'm not laughing at you.
I'm not.
I laugh at my own jokes because nobody else does. But I'm glad to say we've been joined by Piers Morgan. He's come back. Brad, Piers, whatever we're going to call you. I want to talk. I mean, one thing that I'm not impressed with Gary Rowett is his substitutions. We said this on the watch along. He's very reactive rather than proactive. You know, there's an argument to say, like, well, you wait and see what the opposition does and then you react to it. But shouldn't he be doing it and letting them react to us? When I've put there, he made 2 substitutions, one in the 70th, one in the 71st, with James and Musaka coming on for Mavididi and Cordova-Reid. 5 minutes later, they scored the goal. It happened again when he brought Lascelles on the other day. As soon as he brought Lascelles on, within a couple of minutes, we'd conceded a goal.
Yeah, the problem is there's actually quite a fine line between being reactive and proactive, because McKenna would have gone in at half time, just like, funny enough, just like all the players and Gary Rowett would have. He didn't just nip off for a quick pie and pasty by himself. He had a team talking in and told the players, this is what I need from you. This is how we're going to do it. And if this doesn't work by this time, I'm going to make these changes. I'm going to bring these players on. You listen, you get warmed up. I'm going to need you ready to come on at this point if things haven't changed. If they're still 1-0 up, that's what I'm going to be doing. So you've got to make it that I don't change it. And Gary Rowett would have gone, this is what we're going to have to do this off because they're going to do this. I'm going to do this. And if we can get to this mark and we're still winning this game, I'm then going to try and put the pressure on them by making these changes, get these players on. We've got to think proactive. We're going to have to dig in deep for 20 minutes, but after that, I want us to be proactive and I'm going to make these changes. And realistically, Chris, he made them changes to try and make that initiation, before their goal. It wasn't like they scored and they went, oh, fucking hell, now we've got to go for it. I'm going to put Newcastle on. I'm going to throw Ayew on. Oh, shit, what have we done? That's backwards, not forwards. I'm going to make these changes to try and be reactive to their goal. It was actually a little bit case of sod's law that he made the change on the hour, made the change at 70 minutes, and then they went and scored. Because like he actually said in his post-match, they were always going to clamber our box, but that meant that if we made the right move, we'd actually find them a little bit exposed. And if we could just have got that ball out of the box and free to a Harry Winks or a Mukasa, we may have been able to hit more counters. It was a fine line between being reactive and proactive for me, his substitutes in that situation.
Steve, looking at Hezzy's substitutes there, again, not a substitute. And we used to moan about predecessors not making any substitutions till the 60th minute. When he first came in, I think he made a substitute at half time, but 70 minutes the first substitution. What was the point of changing Ricardo Pereira for Chowdhury with 8 minutes of normal time left, or Daka with Ayew with 7 minutes of normal time left, or Fatawu with Arabu with no minutes of normal time left?
That's the strange one, that.
Sorry?
That was a real strange one for me, that.
Well, it is, but you make those substitutions when you're 3-1 up because you want to run the clock down. And I know they have the time on now, but it disrupts the game, Steve. But when you 1-1, or was he thinking, well, look, we're hanging on here, I just want to break play up?
Well, I mean, the Aribo one was the 90th minute itself. I think there was 6 minutes left. So he was just coming on to waste some time and also to shore up that sort of right-hand side with Hamza because he was getting bollocks. I do think it's important to point out that this squad is not fit. They are gassed by the 60th minute. And yes. I don't know what Andy King did in the summer or what they've been doing since, but they can't last a full game. So, of course, you make substitutions and then you look at the quality players we're bringing on. Okay, James, he's come back from an injury. Hamza's the same, but I don't like Hamza. I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw him, to be honest, in regards to playing football. Makassar, I think, I don't understand why he didn't start, but I get it if he wanted a bit more defensive sort of outlet with Bobby. And then you bring Ayew on, who's meant to hold up the ball, but, he can't even hold up his pants, let alone the ball.
I was just saying he can't even hold himself.
That's the one I was going to go for as well.
Yeah, so at this point, who else are you going to bring on? But the main issue is that I think he did leave it too late to make subs. I think leaving it to the 70th minute when everyone is fucked after 55, 60.
Yeah,
that's the naivety, and I hope that he's learning from that pretty quickly because you can't rely on some of these players.
No. And I think you've got to look at whether it's him or whether there's a different manager for next season. Fitness has to be at the top of their checklist of things to do. Clibs, you can change that back, by the way, now if you want.
Oh, I like it. I'll run with it. Go for it.
Harry Winks showed his frustration towards his teammate after an attempted halfway line strike went well wide. With Gary Rowett happy, players are holding each other accountable. I'd missed this again. I think I might have nipped to the toilet. Did you see this?
No, I didn't actually. But what I will say is, if you're on despite what people think of Harry Winks, and I'm one of them, if you're on the pitch,
probably got him £90,000 in League One for another season.
Well, that's another story, isn't it? But while he's on the pitch, that's what's expected. It's the bare minimum. You have to do. He's one of the senior players, and he needs to be organising, rallying, bollocking. Yeah. He has to do that. It's the bare minimum for me on that kind of money. So, non-story for me that.
Yeah. Hamza is a liability, says Ronald. He certainly is. Interestingly, if you go onto the club website and you go onto the teams, they list him as the midfielder. But apparently our managers like him to play him as a defender. There you go.
We're the only club that slag him off. Every other club that he's been to like him.
I know. Go. Brad, manager's reaction. I thought I'd do this. I thought I would take Gary's first 4 games in charge, and I would look not at Andy King's 4 games because that would be unfair, but look at Cifuentes' last 4 games in charge. Although taking out the Cheltenham FA Cup because that was a bit, I'm just looking at the league games. Interestingly, 3 points for both of them. So have we actually? I mean, we lost 2 under Cifuentes. We've only lost 1 under Rowett, and it was obviously wasn't happy with that. Are we improving?
I mean, we are definitely improving because there is more periods in the game that I will say, whilst we're probably still having the same amount of periods of game where we're backs against the wall, second half City sort of thing, we are seeing more positive moments. And they're not petering out after the first 3 minutes where we have 3 shots, 2 on target, and then fail to register another shot. We are definitely doing more about it. I mean, like Stephen Clibbo said, and we've all probably said it tonight as well, the Bristol game will probably be the most defining factor. I was hoping it'd be the Norwich after the first 2 games, but it was what it was. It's more the response to that loss that could be the big difference, because when we lose and when we lost, or should I say, under Cifuentes, you look at it there. All right, Coventry, you could argue top of the league, unlucky. Wrexham, we were very fortunate there, a bit like we were, admittedly, on Saturday to get a point from that. Vestergaard, your love child, Chris, and then we go and get beat to a team that up until the Ipswich game were above us. Okay, Chris, you can't lose that game against Oxford. I think that was the big killer blow. Right now,
I would say those games for Gary actually were a harder set of games than the games for Marty.
I think we're losing more with Marty. I think we get more points with Gary if we stop the fixtures.
Now, Steve will know this bit because he was here last week. Some people weren't here last week, so not mentioning any names. You're pointing at me. It's the other side, Steve, I think.
No, that's correct.
I'm going. Well, I was here last week. I don't know where he's trying to put his finger. We've got a new bit of fun here. We did Jordan Ayew last week, so I want to play a game. And for anybody who remembers the Saw movies, they'll know about the little doll on his tricycle, and it is Jeopardy. I don't know if you all remember Jeopardy. So we'll go around everybody, get them a chance to say it. And it's, if the answer is Jeremy Monger, what is the question? Steve, let's start with you. You're on mute.
Every time. Who is the most overrated player in the Leicester City Academy?
There we go. Clibbo.
I've got 2. I would say...
Go both.
I would say the player that deserves a maverick role in Leicester City's team is...
Are you going to go for the other one?
Which player in recent years has been the most mismanaged in the academy?
That's the one I was waiting for. That's the one, Clibbo. I knew you were going to go for that one at some point. You were scared.
He can't be mismanaged at his age, though, right? He's got plenty of years ahead of him. I just think you've got to give him time to bed in properly.
Well, I'll come back to that point, Steve. Piers?
Who is the player who has the most unnecessary weight on their shoulders to suddenly save Leicester's season?
Yeah.
I get
because
that.
a lot of fans Yeah, a lot of fans
Yeah.
think he'll come on and score 15 goals.
Yeah. I mean, I think taking up Steve's point, I mean, and that was the point I was getting at, Clibbo, which was the one you said. I mean, I think he has been mismanaged. I think he's still a talent, and yes, he's still got that. I think what this club has done is reduced his value. Because I think before, you could be saying, right, if anybody wants him, it's going to cost you 40 million or whatever. And I think now, clubs will look at that and go, we know there's a talent in there because we saw it right at the start and we can develop that. But the way you've done it, we're going to give you 15 million. And I think that's what the club has done.
Well, the club won't accept 50 million for him now. But he signed a
No,
contract.
but you see, no, but I'm just making the point, Steve.
No. I'm saying, there is still a player in there, and if he's still at Leicester in 2 years, even 3 years' time, he will be an outstanding Championship player, potentially Premier League player. I just think.
How long is the contract for, Steve? How long is the contract for? Is it a year?
It's a pre-contract, so when he turns 17, it will be kicked in. We don't know the full contract length as of yet, but he has signed a pre-contract, like Louis Page did as well. So when he reaches 17, it will be automatic.
Because if it is a year, that will be tricky to negotiate.
Youngsters, they tend to offer 2 to 3 just to get them through the door. I actually think we did the same with Dewsbury Hall when he first arrived on the scene, and Hamza when he came of age. Because when he first joined our academy, I was actually working down the training ground, and he was one that they were, when they'd all gone in for their training, they were like, in with the air. That's the one we need to make sure we're looking after and getting through the door. So I believe he and KDH got 2-year contracts. It seems.
I wouldn't be surprised with Monga though if he had a sort of break clause with a big team. Like if Real Madrid came in, they'd accept a certain fee for him.
Yeah. Right. Moving on, because we're not going to have time to do the things at this rate. That's the table, Clibbo. Better than it was at one point. Before kickoff, we were down in 23rd. How many of those teams do you think are fighting for the last 2 places? I mean, I've taken it up to Charlton there. 44, you could argue they're not necessarily safe. They're only 9 points clear of us. Portsmouth, they're still in it, although they've got that game in hand. Blackburn, they've had the new manager bounce. And West Brom, they've stuck with their temporary manager.
I think historically 44 points wouldn't keep you up, would it? But I think Charlton has shown enough. I think they're having blips, obviously. I think they're showing enough. I think Portsmouth down, from Portsmouth downwards, I think they're the teams we've got to target. I think Portsmouth could still drop it. They've had a bit of a boost recently, but they'll hit some buffers. I don't think Blackburn are going to have an easy time over the coming weeks. No. And I think on paper, which is football is not paid on paper, I think our running is slightly kinder, if you want to look at it like that, if you want any kind of optimism.
Steve, I know you have got to go. You're going to go because you only listened to the match. You didn't actually see it, so you're going to leave the player vote points to the other 2 guys. I just want your thoughts on West Brom sticking with their temporary manager.
Well, I'll be honest with you, Chris. Maybe he's an undiscovered talent. Maybe he's relying on some broken strings. Maybe, the West Brom fans hope he makes it real for them. No? They've got to hope that the rain doesn't stop. Please don't stop the rain. No? Anybody?
All right. We get it.
Okay. So the manager is called James Morrison. There's a singer called James Morrison.
I know the singer James Morrison. I don't know his songs. I didn't know that.
Okay. Well, there you go. I tried some humour. I'll be honest. It's a risk, in honesty, because he doesn't look like he's a bit like having Andy King in charge for the rest of the season. I don't know if he's got the minerals to keep them up, but if he's a legend at West Brom by all accounts, then I think that if anyone's going to listen to a manager, it's probably him. They got a decent draw, but will that save them? I'm not sure. But what's more important is they've had their sort of most attacking talent got injured. with a fracture the other week. So, they're down to bare bones, a bit like Leicester.
Brilliant.
Oh God, my joke was so bad that they both left because my joke was so bad.
And you complain about mine. Bloody hell, mate. Right, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to have a nice time with the good lady.
Yes.
And enjoy yourself. And thanks very much, mate. And we'll see you at some point, I'm sure, later in the week. Take care, mate.
Cheers, guys.
Bye-bye. Right, let me just rearrange my underwear, as they say. There we go. Right, guys, what we're going to do now is I don't want any sort of descriptions. I just literally want points being given. The answers today, very, very good answers, but we've gone on that long that we'll be here till midnight at this rate. So all I want literally is just the points that you are going to give. And then we'll do man of the match and everything as normal at the end. So let's start with Stolarczyk. Brad.
7.
Clibbo.
6.
Wouldn't it be great if he got 5 off Jordan? But he gets 6 off Jordan. So he agrees.
Did you say he's done halves this week? I thought you said that in your. You said he did halves.
He did halves last week.
Oh, boo.
And you weren't here. And for some reason, he's gone back to not giving halves.
I got
Ricardo.
4.
Oof. Clibbo.
Yeah, I've got to agree.
4. Wow. He actually got 6 off Jordan. So that might not be the worst one yet. Don't panic, guys. Prashant's coming back with the halves, and everybody listens to what I said here. It's like, a co-league, Brad.
6.
Clibbo.
I thought he was average, so I'll give him 5.
5. He gets a 6 again off Jordan. He likes his 6s. We're not doing halves, Prashant. That was just last week because Jordan suddenly started doing it last week, but he stopped doing it again this week. Nelson Bears.
After my rant earlier about the back 4, you're gonna think I'm on drugs here. 8.
Wow. You are on drugs. Clibbo.
I'll give him a 6.
Give him a 6. And guess what he got off Jordan? 6. Yes. So that's the whole back line, apart from Luke Thomas, for so far has got a 6. Prashant's pretty much thereabouts with the rest of you here. Luke Thomas.
6.
6.
Yeah, I'm going to say 6 as well. He did that.
Well. Now, you would think that he would get 6 off Jordan. No, don't be silly. He got 7. But, Clibbo, your point about where he should be playing is quite right. I agree with you 100%. But again, if we move him, who have we got there? Winks?
6.
Yeah. Again, I've got to agree. 6.
6. Oof. Right. Jordan, and I kind of see where he's coming from with this, he's gone 8.
No.
Yes.
No.
8's exceptional.
City's star man, he has said. He was not perfect and did lose the ball when he shouldn't have done so at times, but he was in charge of the match during City's best periods. There you go. Then again, we're back to tampons, aren't we? Skip.
5.
5. Clibbo?
No, I thought he was very industrious, so I'm going to give him a 6.
6. He had a strong first half, apparently, and he got a 6 as well off Jordan. And then we've got Mr. Fatawu.
For attempting it again, 3.
3. What would he have got if it had gone in, though?
10.
Slibbo. Spoken like a true football fan, sir.
I just thought it was crap. So 4.
4. He got 5 off Jordan. Next up, the man with the longer name than his score sheet, Bobby Dakova-Reid.
5.
5. Clips. Clips. Where's that come from? Clips. I'm going to be however short your name is, I will find some way of shortening it.
That's right. Other people call me that as well. Because I can't give halves, I'm going to say 5.
5. Yep. Yeah, and you all agree with Jordan because he's gone 5 as well. Mavadidi, do.
4.
4. Clibbo?
Yes, and I'm again going to agree with Piers. 4.
You're hired. I'll be on the next show.
Stay there now. Mind you, if he's Piers, which one of us two is Susanna Reid? I'm not sure about that.
Me, I'm the
he's done what he did with the defence. With the attack, he's gone 5 again for Mavadidi. Daka.
Surprise. I'm good. 7.
Oh, is that a 6+1 for the goal?
Yeah, pretty much, Chris. Because I wasn't expecting to see another one in all my life from Daka.
I'm going to say I've been with Piers since like 5 years now or something since we started this rubbish, and I've got to know the way your brain works.
Yeah.
Clibbo.
Had it been halves, I'd have said 6.5. But seeing as he did score a really nice, well-worked goal, I am going to agree and say 7.
7.
I like to praise Daka when I can.
I know, and again, look, with a lot of these players, we are quick to criticise, so we should equally be quick to praise. And he's not going to do that next week, and it probably won't be the week after either. But
he'll do it tomorrow.
When he gets one,
that's a trick coming in. There you are.
6
That's coming in.
Put your money on it. 6 he got. Right. James, we're on to the substitutions now.
All right. It was sit in the box and hope for the best. 5.
5. Clibbo?
I just thought it was largely ineffective. Wasn't his fault, but I can't really say more than a 4.
4. He got a 6 off Jordan. That's his favourite number tonight. He provided good energy with plenty of runs forward and back. And look, it's his first game back. I think he was thrown on just. I think we could possibly see him actually starting on. But that's a very, very quick question. One word answer from both of you. Piers, if we do bring James back against Bristol tomorrow night, Winks or Skip, who do you drop?
Skip.
Clibbo?
Winks.
Wow. You see, I've got to say, I would have agreed with Clibbo. These last few weeks, Winks has been, I think, quite our...
Yeah, but when you've got physical players, Winks disappears. Skip doesn't.
Yeah,
we need a dogfight.
I just feel like, to be fair, both could play with him if you put him in that defensive role and give James the freedom. Yeah. I don't think you have 2 attackers. You have to have one sit in the pivot and let James go forward.
Divine Mukasa. It wasn't divine intervention, but didn't have long. But
I'm not going to rate him because, I'll be honest with you, I didn't know he'd come on. He was thrown in a bit like James. He wasn't able to play his game.
That's a 0 then.
Oh, I'll give him a 5 then.
No, he came on
Yeah, but I'm not going to give him a 0. I want to be kind to him by not rating him. You're saying it's a 0, so I'll give him a 5 like I did James on that basis.
You'll give him a 5, right. Clibbo?
Again, he was trying, but nothing was really... It wasn't his game. It wasn't his time. No. And this is not me being mean to him. It's just the situation he found himself in. So I'm going to say 4.
4. No, I mean, that's the thing. Again, we are not judging the careers here. We are judging them on this game. And players will have good games, players will have bad games. He was not at the races, says Jordan, so he's kind of agreeing with you both there. He gets a 4 as well. Now then, we get to those that we probably can't or maybe want to, but Chowdhury.
I mean, for conning the ref into think it isn't a penalty, he should get a 9, but I'll give him a 5.
5. Clibbo?
Yeah, 5.
5. 4 off Jordan. Fortunately, I could see the penalty.
I thought the way you said 4, you was going to go 3, 2.
Last one, Ayu.
0. Hate him.
He speaks very well of you.
I'm sure it does.
Clibbo.
I've used this analogy before. You know, when you were at school, they used to say in an exam, if you write your name, you at least get 1 point. So he came on the pitch, so I'm going to give him a 1.
A 1. And I got to say, I mean, I'm not voting, but if I did, he wouldn't have got many more than that off me either. I still don't understand what the best form. We've said this so often. We said this post-match, didn't we, Clibbo? Best form of defence is attack. When you're replacing Daka, you put Richards on or move Makasa up into that position, and you know. But I don't know. I give up sometimes. Anyway, he got a 4 off Jordan.
Friend, you got a friend. Fucking idiot, Jordan. Sorry.
And then finally, but this guy, in fairness, he got a not applicable because he was only on the pitch. Literally, he didn't. I don't think he touched the ball, did he? So if you don't want to score this one,
I'm going to give him a 1 because he came on.
I'll go the null and void route. I'll take the cop out that Jordan's allowed me to have.
Yeah, not applicable. Yeah. Right. Let's have a look, Mr. Rowett. How do you rate his managerial skills on this game?
I'm going to give it a 6.
And Clibbo?
Because of the second half, and I think he was, his tactics for me were a large part of the reason why we were under the cosh. So I'm going to say average 5.
5. Now, if you remember, we did this at the end of the. Oh shit! I've just ripped a piece of paper up instead of tearing it off.
Oh, for God's sake!
You know when your notes go wrong.
Yeah.
Here we go. So so what did you give him? 6, Clibbo?
No, you gave him 5.
5. Okay. I gave him 4. Because I think his first choice wasn't very good when he picked the team. I think, dropping your best player is absolutely ridiculous. And then when I look at the substitutions he made, they didn't inspire me either. So I'm giving him 4 for, like you say, for actually organising the team bus on this. Right, let's go for team rating.
6.
Oh, okay. Clibbo?
Again, matter 2 halves, so 5.
5. I totally went for. I was possibly being a bit unfair here, but I've given 4 again. Because
I can see why.
I decided mine on the fact that they executed to a degree Rowett's plan. So if I give Rowett's plan a 6, I'm going to give the players a 6.
No, I get, and I've gone pretty much the same with that. I mean, I'm not saying that they didn't defend well. It wasn't brilliant defending in the second half. It was very much of just throwing the bodies in the way, but that's something they weren't doing under Cifuentes. So we've got to give them credit for that. But they're just in the second half, I don't know why. I could have just gone out. I could have borrowed your dog clipper and taken him out for a walk.
Or in you.
Take me, yeah, more likely that would be it. Piers, your man of the match.
I'm going to go for a defender, and the reason being is because he threw his body on the line, as you said, Chris, and he got his head on everything from what I saw. Obviously, I had a bit of a perfectly legal, not dodgy stream that I was watching it on. And from what I saw, Chris, Ben Nelson, considering the stick he took against Norwich, this game he was a lot better. He got his head on everything. My man of the match was Ben Nelson.
I thought you were going that way because you went 8 for him.
Yeah, I normally try and hide it in that, but I always say I always have to give my man of the match the top mark. So I kind of give it away regardless, don't I? But
yeah. Slibbo, I think you're going to agree with me here.
Well, I don't think I am actually, because my initial man of the match after the match, I said Jakob.
You did.
But I don't, when I've looked at the goal again, I don't think the keeper should be letting that in the near post. I think he flapped at it.
That was my thing to knock him down. I'll be honest with you, Clivo, when I saw that.
Yeah. No, that's fine. I think this is going to make me want to spew up, but I can only judge it on one half because really we only played for one half.
Going.
Yeah, you know where it's going to go. It's going to go Winks.
Oh, he's got Winks. Oh,
Winks? No, I didn't think it was going to go Winks. That wasn't where I thought it was going.
Yeah.
Where did you think it was going, Chris? Let's play guess again, because I thought it was going to go either
I
Daka
thought
or
he was going to go Luke Thomas.
Yeah, I thought Daka or Thomas was going to come out of his mouth.
Yeah, only from what he was saying. Well, do you know what? I'm not going to change my mind. I'm not a woman. I'm going to stick with what I said at the start. And I'm only saying that because I know he's miles away with his dog and he can't come round after me. But I am going to stick with what I said, which was Winks was and I've got to say, joking aside, we said at the time, I think we all kind of went, yeah, our man of the match, but Winks was a very close second, and I could have gone for Winks. I'm going to stick with Stolarczyk, and yeah, okay, maybe he was at fault for that one goal, but he also stopped it being 5-6 even more.
Yeah,
you know. So
yeah, absolutely.
That's why
I think it was because of it's the near post thing. It's like it's a goalkeeper thing.
If a corner goal, he'd have won it.
Yeah.
Everybody tells you the basics goalkeeping don't get beat in near post, and he can't flap the defence for it because the defence are trusting the goalkeeper to block a near post, if anything.
I mean, I said before that was I'd want Bekovic in goal for the rest of the season. But on that performance, I would be very happy for Stolarczyk to keep it, and he was coming out for those crosses and taking them very confidently. You know,
coming out the limelight's what he needed, and a bit of fortune to get back into it with the freak injury beforehand.
Well, as we know, Alan goes to the match, and he's gone for Harry Winks. Clibbo will know this because he was on the post match, and he has gone for a team rating of 6, which one of you two guessed. Was it Piers?
That was bad. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So. Football friends. But there we go, guys. Thank you very much indeed. I'm feeling confident. I think we're on the up, and I think we said on the post match as well, guys, that if that had been a Marty team, not a Marty as in Daniel Amarty, our own Lionel Messi. But if that had been not an Amarty team, a Marty as in Marty Cifuentes team, we would have lost that.
Oh yeah, hands down.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm more confident of us getting 4 points out of the next game than I ever would be after Marty after playing Ipswich Town.
Is it a must-win tomorrow? I mean, when you look at who we've played, we've played Stoke, we've played Middlesbrough, and we've got a point off them, both of which probably could have lost. We probably lost the easiest game that we should to win, which was Norwich, and at home. And then we've held Ipswich as well. Is Bristol City, with their form at the moment, because they've only won one in the last 5, is this sort of one that if we don't win this, then we know is probably it?
It's right now. It's still a must not lose because you think of the teams we've got still to play, and a lot of them are in and around us. Chris, the Blackburn, Portsmouth. Do we have? No, we don't have Charlton again. But we've got Sheffield Wednesday, and obviously we've got West Brom still. That would be the big pivotal game. It's must not lose at this point, but it's one of the games that you look at. Out of I think he said we've got 6 out of 9 at home, which could play a very pivotal role for us. It's a game you look at, you think there's a frailty there for us to get 3 points. I think we could have a good performance and draw 0-0 or 1-1. That might, flip the performance of Ipswich. You just can't lose it.
West Brom, Clibo, are playing Wednesday, and they've got at home to Southampton. But interestingly, Blackburn are away at Oxford United.
Yeah, it's a bit of a conundrum, isn't it? For me, technically speaking, it's not a must-win game. Psychologically, I think it is absolutely a must-win game because of what's going on around us. It's another home game. And I think it will highlight the previous result if we lose. Yeah. And I think that is a big mess if we lose tomorrow. And what you're going to end up doing is the diehards that have got all the positivity in the world, you're going to start chinking at their armour as well now. I think if you lose tomorrow, it's a big problem. I expect a real performance tomorrow. I expect it.
Yeah, no, you're right. Just to round it up, for those of you that are interested, it's West Ham 2, Brentford 2 in the FA Cup. They are in extra time at the moment, and the winner of that game will be hosting Leeds United. Southampton, obviously, who knocked us out, are at home to Arsenal. Chelsea are at home to Port Vale. And I think somehow this game might be the one that's on TV. Manchester City will be playing Liverpool. So I wonder if we're going to have another goal like we did earlier in the season. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much. You can walk out now if you want.
I'll storm out now. My laptop gave up on me as well, so I'm just going to have to throw something to make it sound like I'm violently angry.
Yeah, no, just thanks very much, guys. Look, it's all about opinions. We know that, and this club does make you frustrated at times. I will be back tomorrow. I'm not sure what time the kickoff is at the moment, but we'll be back an hour
tomorrow.
Sorry,
it's 7:45 the kickoff tomorrow.
We'll be back at 6:45 with the pre-match and the watch-along. Do all the normal things: like, subscribe, and of course, if you're watching on your mobile, give us a hype. Don't know how it works, but apparently it does. Thanks very much, everybody. I will see you tomorrow night. Take care. Good night.
Later.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.